Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the wonderful folks from different parts of the world. Today, Lena and me are here uh, for a common cause, for a common purpose. And this is based on Lena's insight, Lena's journey, and of course, some of the key observations that I have made over the years. Yes, we all are concerned about our future, uh, career, life, and and other areas of of expression, right? So today, we are going to discuss the importance, relevance of self love and self discovery on career transition, growth, and success. But to all the folks, just to get an insight about Lena and me, I'll just share, the background of Lena, and then of course a bit about my background, so that who are the folks who are listening to, and of course later it will help also you to connect with us. Lena is recovering. I think I would first give her kudos that she has joined this session. She has committed to this cause. So thank you, Lena, for you're being unwell and you're recovering, and still you are up and contributing, and that's a mark of a great leader. So thank you, Lena, for doing that. Just to give a brief introduction, Lena is a seasoned professional with over 15 years of experience in corporate arena. Throughout her career, she has been involved in consulting, training, and designing systems for global clients. In 2019, Lena made a bold decision to step away from her thriving career. Her goal was to embark on a personal journey to discover her true purpose and find a meaningful direction in life. This courageous move was a pivotal moment that ultimately led her down a path of self discovery and transformation. Today, Lena stands as an award winning entrepreneur and an international speaker with a unique mission. Her mission is to bridge the gap between the corporate and spiritual worlds, two realms that are often seen as distant. She firmly believes that genuine success and a truly fulfilled life can only be achieved through self knowledge and understanding. Lena has been invited to several prestigious global platforms: Women in Tech, Disrupt HR, HR Tech, Future of Employer of the Future, just to name a few. In 2022, Lena received a publishing award from Brains magazine for her recognition and outstanding contributions. She has also co authored a book, You Can Have It All, a testament to her dedication to empowering and guiding others towards achieving their full potential. So that's, in a nutshell, Lena's background. And about me, I call myself as a seeker. In the last 10 years, I have had a privilege uh, to be an entrepreneur, to be part of a co-working space, of course, which promotes flexibility, and to help that co-working space grow. And then of course I've spent a good amount of time in startup incubation. Any new idea, any new thought with whether it be business, or for that matter, in terms of expressing yourself professionally. I was someone who was taking care of that baby, that idea, and help them mature and grow and express that in the world. Apart from that, I also host virtual global leadership dialogues, podcast, and today, thanks to Lena for discussing this idea with me. We are doing this masterclass on a very specific topic. And also I wanted to share one more thing to Lena here, that she has been someone who has been somewhere guiding me on taking new, let's say, challenges in this collaborative leadership journey that I'm having with respect to the podcast, because I did an audio before, and then Lena encouraged me to go to video. And today, we are doing this as a masterclass. So every new thing I'm doing, Lena is on the forefront. But yes, so I just shared a brief about me. I'm sure you will get to learn more in the conversation, and I'll try to bring in my 10 to 12 years of rich experiences in people and leadership success, and some of the observations I have made in terms of people dealing with their career or life, and try to share it, and help we grow. So Lena, I just wanted to share, and I would like you to start this conversation, and share your thoughts on what does self love mean to you, and why do you care about self love? Yeah.
Hi, Sagar. So, firstly, thank you so much for this glorious introduction. It's incredible. And it's just lovely to be back here with you. So, yeah, let's kick it off. The whole topic of today is self love. And I think it's a kind of a misunderstood topic. I certainly didn't know what that was ever. I always thought it was self care. And we'll get to the point where we discuss the difference between self love and self care. So to me, self love really is the embodiment of self knowledge. It's the deep understanding of who you are, what works for you, what doesn't, what are your needs, what is it that you want. And it's not even a feeling, it's more like it's a state. So it's basically when you go and you express your needs, your desires, and not from the place of neediness or lack or trying to prove yourself trying to prove your worth, but it's from the place of being very grounded, of certainty, of empowerment, where you say, look, this is what works for me. This is what I need. This is what doesn't work for me. Because you know how you function, operate at your best without worrying what others think, if you upset someone else, without tiptoeing around people's feelings. And of course, very importantly, it's also about radical responsibility for your own thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and behavior. So, in a nutshell, that's what self love means to me. How about
Yeah.
you?
So for me, I like to break things. Okay. So in a way, self and love. Uh, in my experience of life, uh, I see self as some as a phenomena of completion, of completeness, and love as a constant state. It's always there. It's just like, how much we are aware in terms of experiencing that love is always there. There are so many ways, I think love word has been used in so many contexts, and in movies, I think our major definition of love has come from movies and the content that we watch. But actually it is not. It is more beyond it. And I think this is, where I would also want our audiences to introspect. Okay, the real love, for me it is state, and self means feeling of completion.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. It's exactly right, because the love that we think is what we're looking for, which actually we're not looking for love, we're looking for attention, right?
Yeah.
And it's that attachments and expectations, and that's not love. And the reason for that is, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, for me to take time for me to give me, that was considered selfish, right? I needed to do things for other people. I needed to make sure my parents, my grandparents, everybody was happy with what I was doing. And then what happens is we don't learn how to put an energy back into ourselves. So we give from the empty, and you can't give something you don't have. So
Yeah.
self-love, it's not being selfish, it's actually being self-full. And it's a very, very different way to look at it. So when you begin to realize it, and most importantly understand that, hey, I can't give anyone my attention, I can't even give anything to anyone unless I first give it to myself, then I think that whole perception really shifts, and become more self-focused, but not from the selfish standpoint, but more from a self-full standpoint.
Absolutely, absolutely, Nana. Thank you for sharing that. And how what does self discovery mean to you?
Well, self-discovery, it's a journey, really. It's not like you kind of wake up one day like I'm self-discovered. It's a journey that's always evolving. It's really understanding, why do you behave a certain way,
Hmm.
why certain things trigger you, why people trigger you, um, and becoming aware and observant of your thoughts and your emotions. So whenever like a difficult lesson or a difficult person, no matter what you encounter in your life, instead of saying they've done this to me or why is this happening to me, you ask yourself a different question, like, what is the lesson? What is it showing to me? What am I not seeing? What are they reflecting in me? Or where am I in my life showing up the way they're showing up for me? And it's
Yeah.
making it all more about more personalized experience rather than outward experience.
Interesting. Interesting. uh, I come from the land of seekers, India. So discovery is a part of, let's say, the way I have, let's say, most of us have been constructed from our childhood. It's there. So for me, I see self discovery as a constant inquiry, or as a constant questioning of of all the aspects of life. uh, Sometimes we do question a lot, in terms of, let's say, relationships, of course, the impact of work that we are doing, but at the same time, it's a constant state of inquiry. Okay, things have happened. How much things I have discovered, or I have achieved it, with awareness. How much things I need to What things I need to do more, to get to the point that I really want to go and achieve. Because ultimately, discovery process must lead to design a life which where you actually want to go. And that must support your individual definition of success. So this is how I look at self discovery.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because you brought up a very valid point. It's all about discovering what works. How can I get there? What is it that I need to be more successful? And but again, the emphasis isn't what do I need to do, right? Or what do people around me need to do so I can get there or I can feel better, right? Because I always say wherever our attention goes, our energy flows. So whenever we start putting attention, how can I rearrange this situation around me so I can feel better about myself or I can improve myself? We're actually giving our energy out completely. And that's when we start leaking and draining our energy. So self-discovery is being very mindful of
Yeah.
every single thing, questioning, querying, like, what am I doing? Who am I doing it for? Why am I doing it? Because often
Yeah.
we don't even ask this question. It's like, I want to go do that. I want to have this. But but why? Who are you doing it for? Are you just doing it to prove something to someone? Or are you doing it because it's truly genuinely light up your heart and your soul? And there's a very
Yeah.
different energy. It's not even, I mean, I think it was a friend of mine. She used to remind me a lot. She says, Lena, it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is where it's coming from. And that's so
Yes.
true, right? We can take exactly the same action, but one will come from a place of expansion, of excitement, and another one from the needing to get something out of something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, why it is important? Why today when it comes to career, people talk about building structured resumes. We're talking about making, let's say, video CVs. We are talking about, you know matching the keywords with the job description. Of course, those things are important. That's how you arrive at where at a workplace that you're aiming for. But in the process, there is a lot of stress. There is a lot of, let's say, there is a lack of clarity. Sometimes, the questions, I mean, people sometimes even don't realize that it is also taking toll on their self image or self confidence. Because the you know uh, I mean, when we talk about career growth and transition, it's people will always find it, seekers would always find it, incomplete, that process, right? And sometimes, I believe, and I think that's the big why also we are here today, to share this with the viewers, that it is so important. Self love and self discovery is so important in the process itself, so that the journey also is enjoyable. So why do you think, Lena, these two are so important? Feel free to go ahead and share that.
Yeah, so our outer world is a reflection of our inner worlds. And one of the main aspects of self-love, because it is a very broad term, there's so many things we can put inside
Yeah.
that self-love container, right? But one of those elements, I guess, and a crucial element is self-acceptance. And
Hmm.
accepting not just the nice parts of ourselves that we like, maybe like your sense of humor, how kind you are, whatever that is, but also the shadow aspects of ourselves, the parts that we want to suppress, we want to deny, we want to resist, we want to run away from, and we just embarrassed to show others. Like for me, it's always been impatience, frustration. Those probably more the most predominant ones. But the thing is, what I've come to realize is that when we reject any aspects of ourselves, it's like we are denying ourselves our birthrights, our wholeness. And that means we can't show up as our true authentic selves, because it creates the disconnect between who we think we are versus who we truly are. And that's because we are not fragmented entities that sometimes think we are. We're trying to hide this part. We want to be better to the outside world. So we put on a smiley face. In the meantime, we're like sitting in fear or resentment and anger. And that creates that separation. And so we
Yeah,
are one whole holistic human being. We are one energetic components. And acknowledging that all parts of us are valid and giving attention to the parts of us that are playing up, that we don't like, and actually being present with them, then we start healing them and bring them all back into oneness. Because that's the only way, I believe and I know of, that you can really find that peace and content and fulfillment. And that's what I believe every single person wants at the end of the day, right? You may think you want a job, you may think you want to have more money, you may think you want to have a bigger house or a car, but what does it matter if you don't have that peace, if you don't have that fulfillment? Because all we're going to keep on doing is attaching to this external outcomes, and nothing external is permanent. It's all fleeting. When sometimes you're like, yes, I'm going to get this job and I'm going to feel so freaking happy, and you do for like 3 months, and then you meet a colleague or somebody rubs you up the wrong way, or things don't go the way you want, so you're getting passed for promotion, and all of a sudden it's not the best job. Then you think, okay, I'm going to go on this amazing holiday, and you go on a holiday, and you maybe have a great time. You come back and you get a withdrawal because you come back to UK. You just came back from sunny South Africa and it's miserable and it's raining. And you're like, what the hell? I need another holiday. And it just does not end, right? And that's why cultivating that self-love, it allows us to build that strong foundation. And from that foundation, that's when we can start creating those careers, the life, the business that we truly desire.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Lena, for sharing that. Sometimes I wonder that uh, we are so busy in the usage of our intellect and logical minds. Uh, that really, definitely, it's a very important ingredient, or rather, it definitely provides a certain sense of stability, because it helps you monitor the actions. But it is even more important to be yourself and express yourself in a way so that you enjoy that particular, let's say, logical step that you are taking. And I think, if we really understand and understand the real, and let's say, the meaning of self love, then it will also help us, sail through whatever, be it the growth that we are looking at or the transition that we are aiming for. So the point I'm trying to make here is that definitely use your logical construct and your and follow the processes and steps taken, but at the same time keep a check on, is it really supporting you? Is, let's say, sometimes I wonder, Lena, people, definitely discipline is highly regarded and valued, but sometimes it's okay to use a very complimentary, let's say, values. It could be, let's say, having fun while creating, let's say, whatever you want to create or write or writing, be it, let's say, in career transition, people sometimes are so busy in proving themselves that they end up creating certain realities which don't exist in their personality. And if they leverage the power of self love and reflection and discovery, it will definitely help in of course expressing themselves in the way they want to express, And ultimately, also in a way, it will support them in finding the right people and the right energy centers in organizations where they want to go through, or where they want to, where they're looking for, or where they want to transit. So this is something came to my mind when you expressed that.
Yeah, exactly. Because, when we really started journey of self-discovery, of understanding ourselves better, our energy begins to shift, it begins to change. And everything, and I said it so many times before, everything in this life responds to your energy, not to your efforts. So what happens is, this is a vibrational universe. And I'm just going to go a little bit into the
Sure, sure.
quantum, the woo-woo thing.
Yeah, because
Everything.
I'm sure people would be having question, okay, what is the step, what are the steps to achieve self love, or what are the steps to achieve self discovery? So yeah, feel free, go ahead, Lena. Yeah.
Yeah, so everything in this life responds to your energy because we live in a vibrational universe. And Nikola Tesla spoke about it, Albert Einstein, and so many other great minds, right? Everything vibrates at a certain frequency. So let's say you're vibrating over here and you want this incredible promotion, you want to maybe become a CEO of the company, whatever that is, money, it doesn't really matter, okay? That exists on a very, very different level of vibration, different level of energy. There is a mismatch, right, between the two. So what you can do, you can take very linear path that most people do, they work their butts off, they sacrifice the health, maybe relationship, personal time, and they may eventually get there. At what cost? With the burnout, it's going to take them years. They may,
Hmm.
they may not, don't know.
Yeah,
Or you
yeah.
can change your energy. You see how the jump goes like this. It doesn't go at the snail pace. It goes here. And that's why cultivating this strong foundation, that self-love, acceptance, is crucial part of the journey if you want to get to your results in this lifetime without burning out. It's easy, but it's not simple. Or is it simple, not easy? Whichever way it goes, right? Because it requires a shift of identity. It requires, because you can't reach this new reality without changing your personality. So you've got to start shifting your identity and literally becoming the person who already has this job or has this career or has this relationship or has this money. So you first change your identity and then everything speeds up because you just change your vibration, you change your energy, and that becomes a match. And then of course the important thing we need to remember is to sustain that energy, because sometimes we want something, we get it, but then we drop and that thing will leave our lives. And I speak to so many
Wow.
people. They're like, look, I've created this most incredible experience. I've attracted this into my life. I'm experiencing this, but then it leaves. And I'm like, yeah, because you can't maintain the energy. Because when you think, oh, I've got this job now, everything is good, and you stop doing that self work, you stop going within, your energy will drop, right? And
Yeah.
that's when either you will either get fired or maybe you become miserable in a job where you realize that's not what you wanted all along. So that's why working on our energy should really become our first priority.
Brilliant, Lena. Thank you for highlighting that, because when you shared this, right, something clicked to me, and I can really be one of those, what do you call, examples of what you just mentioned, about shifting the energy system. So in 2022, post pandemic, I realized that, and I'm sure some of the viewers would also relate to this, is that it actually started happening in 2021, when I realized that, what am I doing, is this how I want to craft the reality for the next 10 years of my life. And in 2022, I decided to be part of uh, a future of work and remote focused. I wanted to create that lifestyle. So in a way, the energy, I really wanted to grasp that energy, right? And then, in 2022, I moved on, and I took some steps. I went for some meditation programs and energy retreats. And then that's how I discovered, out of many things, I must be doing this podcast with some of the wonderful leaders who enjoy the same space. And I'm just sharing the viewers, how in fact that has led to even me reaching out to you, and having this, having initiatives where we are co-creating experiences. So I understand when you say that, when you focus on the energy system, because I have been just doing that. So and suddenly I understand, definitely I could have, the next role, Lena, for me, in the industry that I was, to be a CEO. That was the next step for me. then I decided, okay, you know what, okay, if I move out now, I have to, you know, attract, or rather be in a different frequency. So initially, yes, it was a struggle to understand what is the frequency, and you know, how should I go about it. But sometimes I believe, you know, when there is a, let's say, elements of self love, and this, and a quest, to discover, or to face the fear of the unknown, automatically it creates a solution. Because I never thought I'll be doing like one of this initiative that we are doing, I would do it and I would sustain it. So thank you, Lena, for highlighting it. And I also want to share this with viewers, that I am the live example of you know, someone who is trying to shift the energy system. And that's how I am attracting wonderful folks, and wonderful community where I'm constantly engaged, and you know, I've really progressed in this journey. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Lena.
it's all that, right? Because I mean, I mean, I've started speaking, I don't know, maybe 18 months ago. I had zero experience. In fact, I was terrified of public speaking, but something started coming through me. It's like I just knew I had to do this. I had no idea why. It made no sense to my logical mind. So I've used certain tools and techniques that really started helping me to tap into my subconscious mind, into my imagination, and so many other things. And then it's just, yeah, it just started happening because in my mind I was a speaker, I was standing on a stage, I was delivering the talks, I was that person. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I was still obviously taking practical steps, but the steps were guided rather than
Yeah,
like let me sit and figure out which networking meeting I can do. And of course it did happen in the beginning, except then I began to realize that I've got to start working backwards. I've got to assume the identity of a person I want it to be, and then the action steps will be guided, will be revealed to me. And then obviously it comes to a matter of trust. And then what often then happens is we presented with challenges, with obstacles. Life will always throw curveballs. It will tell you, oh, you want to be that great, or you want to achieve that level of success. Well, here's one thing, here's another thing, right? And it's constant. And what actually came to me, it was a couple of weeks ago in meditation, is saying, whenever the problem is given, the solution appears immediately. And just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there, right? And I'm like, oh my
yeah,
God, that is so true. The solution is always there. We just start scrambling around, trying to figure out the answer, trying to find the solution. But actually, if you retreat and be like, okay, what is the lesson? What am I meant to know? You will see that instead of being problem focused, the solution will be presented to you. And usually number of solutions. And then of course it's just trusting yourself. So it was just like, it's just something you were talking about, the solutions or something. I can't remember. It's just, I just wanted to share that the moment the problem appears, the answers are given to us. And just because we don't see them, it doesn't mean they're not there. We just have to
yeah,
trust ourselves to go deeper within and to follow the guidance system.
absolutely, absolutely. So uh you know, sometimes I feel, you know, why overthinking has become a very big impediment. um, because I think it's a very big impediment in recognizing self love, and of course even discovery. So what are your suggestions on, you know, managing and you know, taking care that overthinking doesn't hits that hard?
Well, I think we all have enough experience with overthinking to know it doesn't work. Or even if we do get to the results that we desire, it just puts a tremendous mental, physical, emotional pressure on our systems. So, I mean, I speak a lot about intuition. I do a lot of work around the intuition area, helping people how to really get out of this logical minds. And let's face it, our logical minds, you only use 5%, right? So it means 95% we don't even tap into. And
Yes.
that's what we call abundance lives. This is like how we're meant to naturally navigate our lives. So for me, and I mean, I've shared it with you, and you obviously,
Yes.
know from my post that human design for me was a game changer. I've always been kind of intuitive, like from a very, very young age, but because I've been brought up to be very logical, believing that math was the only path to success, and I had to like really, focus on my math, my sciences, and all of that, I kind of shoved that other part of me aside, which was the biggest part of my life. And only like now I'm really, really exploring it. So I would really encourage people to, well, explore human design. Even if you just go on like on YouTube and see how that feels for them, because I know for me that was a piece of the missing puzzle. It really helped me to start taking this necessary steps towards deprogramming my mind and really connecting to my true self and starting to trust myself more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just wanted to share, before I share, my views. See, a lot of viewers would be like, okay, we are, uh, let's say here in India, or I'm sure you will also relate to this, that we have family responsibilities, we have financial responsibilities. There is so much happening in the life, like I'm responsible to for so many people. Okay, so if I go out of the way, and with respect to whatever, be it career transition, growth, and invest a lot of time in self love and self discovery, then it will hamper my life, my lifestyle. There are questions that might come. Okay, like they might be like, okay, what you're saying is true, but then how do I manage this with so many other areas where I'm committed to. So what are your thoughts for those folks?
Yeah, beautiful question. So, I mean, I think we touched on it recently, well, or just earlier, just now. we when we don't invest in ourselves, when we're just trying to be everything to everyone, we cannot give, or we give to take, right? It's like, I'll give you this, but what's in that for me? Or we give and there's that sense of resentment, or I'm absolutely shattered and exhausted, and all we're doing is we adding this to the collective, this resentment, frustration, exhaustion, and we're all swimming in that soup of collective energy. And that's why I think all of us, like, pretty much tired, because we're sending all of that energy out there. But only if you did slightly the opposite. And I'm not saying spend 20 hours a day baking and bathing in self-love. That's not what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it's
Yeah.
more like, you get up in the morning and ask yourself, how can I start my morning with one day that would completely light me up? Whatever that is, right? Forget about your children, your parents, they can come later. But just one thing, instead of getting on a social media or checking the emails or thinking how crap your life is or how the traffic is going to be, one thing, maybe it's meditate, maybe it's do 10 push-ups, maybe it's go for a 5-minute walk, because what you're doing, you're raising your energy immediately, right? And then even that little practice starts becoming more observance of the things that trigger you in a day. So this person said something and it caused anger, but just instead of like reacting, just take a bit of time, maybe go even home later and to contemplate, why did it anger, what did it bring up within me? Because it's got nothing to do with the person, we already know that. You
Mm.
triggered something within you that maybe your parents did to you when you were 5. They didn't pick up your ice cream and you felt abandoned, and the person did something that made you remember that episode, that experience from your life. So even just by becoming, taking every single thought captive, examining it, and even just doing that, becoming observant of your thoughts, asking yourself, what would I love, instead of what do they want from me, right? It's very different energy. So then when you start then changing your energy, like Dr. Jody Spencer and I always refer to him, he says, change your energy, change your life. You will find that situation that really demands so much of your time, so much of your attention, they no longer match to your new energy. Remember, everything responds. So things that are not matched, they're going to leave your life.
Yeah.
It's all, you're going to attract people, opportunities, you will take care of it. And even if it's still lingering somewhere there, if you've got to do something that you don't want, you will approach it with a very different level of awareness. And now, instead of sending out this impatience, frustration, judgment out into the collective energy, you're sending peace, you're sending freedom, you're sending contentment, you're sending the contentment. I get confused with the words. You know what I mean? You're sending out like more
Yeah. Yeah.
positive energy. So you're actually contributing to the collective without you having to do anything. The only thing you've done, you invested in yourself, and then you're sending that energy out to the people. You don't even have to
Yeah.
do anything. So isn't it becomes more empowering place to live from, and healthier, right? A lot
Yes.
healthier for all of us.
Yes.
So yeah, as I said, it's not being selfish, it's being selfful, and we can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah. Yeah. This reminds me of when we discussed why overthinking happens. So sometimes, this is my personal discovery, and so this is my understanding. It's actually is one part of your mind seeking solutions. There are too many solutions, but it's a part of the mind that is trying to, let's say, get to the destination. That's why the overthinking happens. So I think you shared a wonderful example of the reverse, You mentioned about, first I have determined what I want to be, and then I'm taking the reverse journey. Similarly, I feel for overthinking, just put it down, put your thoughts down there on paper, everything, like everything. Just maybe book a 2 hours time slot on a Sunday or a weekend. Just put it down, everything, whatever your concerns are. Specifically, let's say with respect to career, whatever, just put it out on the paper. Okay, at least it will give you, everything will be from your mind, will be there on the paper. So whatever it is, you're not actually, you're emptying like, so the bucket from your mind, and you're just putting it there. So that's, let's say, I mean, it seems to be a very commonsensical thing to do, but I'm asking my viewers, ask how many times you're doing this, or have you ever done this, because every now and then you might be hearing this, but I think this is a very, very important step. And second, if you feel that at the stage, you're not ready to take this journey by your own, we are having 8 billion people on the planet. You can have a coach, get a coach, find a coach, invest some money. I mean, it's sometimes, see, you are, you are good at the profession that you are good at. So be take help of other professionals who are good at what they can do and they can offer to you. So this is my, let's say, basic steps I want to share, so that at least with this conversation they can think, okay, what are some of the common baby steps that can be taken. So these are two things that came to my mind, Lena.
Yeah, no, it's a great share. I mean, brain dump is really useful, for like journaling. And if you don't even have 2 hours, just take the predominant thoughts. What is the thoughts? Let's say maybe I'm not worthy, I don't have time, nobody respects me, whatever that is, and just write that out and start questioning, is this a truth? Is this a true thought? Is it an absolute truth? Well, there's no absolute truth, so it's a no. Okay, well, what can I think differently? How can I turn this thought around? What I know that is true for me, right? Maybe you know that you do have some loving people in your life. So if you're writing, nobody values me, well, is it true? Well, no, because I've got my kids, they value me. So you can start putting some doubts into your thinking process. And another thing is, because thoughts generate our emotions, we can even, approach it from a different perspective. So querying your thoughts is really, really powerful. And even starting just with one thought, and just changing it, transmuting it into a more positive one. But then start paying attention to more how you feel rather than what you think, because sometimes the thoughts are conscious, but sometimes they're unconscious. We don't even know. We're just thinking like it's like crap in our heads, and it
Yeah.
makes you feel anxious or scared or whatever that is. So that's fine. If you've got time and space, sit with those feelings, sit with this fear, sit with this anger, sit with this loneliness, sit with this sadness, no matter what that is. Let go of the thoughts. They will be there. They will be there. But just allow yourself to feel those emotions. And I can't even stress how crucial it is, because we normally condition, or we believe that it's not okay to feel all those emotions, right? So if you're feeling, let's say, sad, if you're feeling frustrated, we'll turn to wine, we'll turn to friends, to Netflix, but we're not allowing ourselves to feel it. And it's only through feeling it we can start healing them, right? And all emotion is just energy in motion. It's the energy we've been suppressing, we've been avoiding all our lives, and we suppress, and that's what actually can have an impact on our physical health, on our mental health. So if we keep on suppressing and don't allow ourselves to express them, we'll get suffocated, and just like, so it's going to feel very, very dense in our bodies. So I also encourage, those who are listening, just carve out some time, especially, let's say, if you had a challenging day, if something really upsetting you, if somebody's making you fearful or angry, forget your thoughts, go find a quiet room and just allow those emotions to come up. And I call it purging. A lot of us call it purge. Just like cry it out, release it, throw it up, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But you will see, after you have a good cry, it feels so much lighter. And allow yourself to do that as often as you can, because that's how you're going to start moving that energy. So next time when the same experience happens, when somebody says something or situation that triggered you in the past, you will not have such emotional charge to it. You will feel
Yeah.
like, and eventually it will stop bugging you completely. You're like, that used to trigger me. I have no emotional charge. And isn't that, and then you take that into your workplace, into your career, into your relationships. It's like people can do whatever the hell they like, but it's got nothing to do with who you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Lena, for highlighting that. And I just wanted to share with the folks who are really, really structured, process oriented, and logical. Uh, it's a very simple exercise that I have also started doing. Is that I am monitoring my physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, mental health, and financial health. Okay, so I am every day I'm reflecting 10 minutes. What have I done today to take care of my physical health? Let's say for me 30 minutes of going to gym is taking care of my physical health. Having such conversations here, like in this, let's say in this forum and otherwise offline, have I did some had a meaningful conversation with a mental, very wonderful mental exchange, that takes care of my mental health. Emotional health, have I meditated today, or have I do whatever I do, let's say be it chant or whatever, we all have our own ways to express it, but have I done it? Yes. Spiritual health, again, have I invested time in my own energy system, or have I read a good content, a good inspiring content, or the content that is based on my areas of interest? Tick mark. Physical health, have I eaten something today? Wonderful. That of course, we all understand scientifically that this is good for the body. Tick mark. Have I done something substantial that has helped me to gain some finances? Tick mark. So even if we invest 10 minutes each and ensure that in a week, 7 days a week, even if 5 days we are ticking it, okay, that's a wonderful beginning. Of course it should be 7 on 7 days, but then 5 days, it's a wonderful beginning. In 10 minutes, 50 minutes, imagine. And I believe, the reason why, we chose this topic today, self love and self discovery, because with these steps that we are discussing right now, it also has the power to change the trajectory of your career. Because sometimes it happens that today you or me would believe that, what, I have played this role for 5 years or 7 years, I will be really good at this role. Of course, logically and experientially, that experience has been gained. But when you invest time in your own growth and in your own awareness, it also opens up new dimension within you. You might, we hear a lot about people talking about living a purposeful life, living a life full of fulfillment. Everyone wants to does that, right? The problem is not money, or problem is not the job itself, because jobs are available, opportunities are available, but then it doesn't guarantee fulfillment or purpose. If simple steps that we have discussed so far in the conversation, if we leverage it, I think then it opens up, and you might, at least start thinking about, what if, things are there arranged in the life, what I need, what kind of arrangement is required within, so that I experience purpose driven and fulfilled life. So this is something that opened up, Lena, when you express that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And because we can't live purposeful and fulfilled lives based on expectations of other people, it's not possible, right? That's why understanding what are my passions, what would light me up, what would I love, such important things. Like you mentioned journaling a few times, and like whenever I work with my clients, I always encourage them just to take few minutes and say, ask yourself, if nothing was a problem, if I could not fail, what would I love? And you might be surprised to discover what's hiding underneath there.
Yeah, yeah. Self doubt is and self confidence, okay, is also something which people usually don't share often. And even, with the likes of leaders, of course they are wearing a hat, they have to express, they want to hold their guards up, they can't, openly share. But I think this has been a very big impediment in career transitions, with respect to career transitions, or with respect to, let's say, uh, completely, shifting the career base. So what are your thoughts here, and what are some of the ways, one can reflect in solving for self doubt and self confidence?
So doubts is a natural quality for humans, right? I mean, everybody experiences doubts. The question is how long you're going to experience it for, and is it going to hold you back from what you truly desire? And if
Yeah.
it does, then you really have to query your desires, because when the desire is there and you want it, you have this burning passion for something, you will find a ways to deal with self-doubt. And that's what I remember I was explaining, how everything vibrates at a certain frequency. So if you, let's say, want to become, let's use the same example, CEO, currently you're HR manager, you've got doubts. So you can work on yourself slowly, right? You can take more actions, you can get busier and busier, or you can become the person. And the question is, how do you become the person? And the answer to that is by getting out of your head, because all doubts, all of this limiting beliefs, it's our ego. That's it. It's our ego system, because our egos are here. It's an entity we've created to protect ourselves, right? And that's where all of this doubts, unworthiness, I'm not valuable, nobody loves me, whatever. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too this. Everything. That's the ego, because ego wants to protect us. So in a way, it wants to protect us, but it's actually harming us than does anything good. So what helps us to get out of this is our imagination, and that's really, really powerful. So when you feel like somebody's struggling with self-doubt and they really want to grow in their career or in their business, whatever, once again, ask yourself, if nothing was an obstacle, if I could not fail, what would I love? Because when you ask yourself, what would I love, you get out of the head into your heart. Heart doesn't know doubt. It got no clue what doubt is. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just open, right? And then start writing it and connecting to the feeling, experiencing what would it be like if I was already that CEO. What would I
Yeah.
be doing? What would I be eating? What would I be wearing? What kind of conversations would I be having? And I promise you, when you start writing that, or if you've got a really kind of really good visual senses, you can visualize that. You will start getting some information. It's not possible not to. And maybe the first step would be, okay, start creating presentations and sharing them with your team, even a little step, small step. And then, of course, the important thing is to do that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagination is really powerful. You already become that person in your imagination, and ask yourself, if I was already that CEO, how would I be showing up? And then you can write it down, and it's like, and then look at that and say, okay, well, what is the small thing I can do today? And then do it, even if it's going for a walk. Because if you're a great CEO, you've got to go for a walk to recharge your batteries, to clear your minds. And right now, maybe you're like a manager who's running from one thing to next. You're just too busy to do that. Okay, well, if the CEO goes for a walk, they allow themselves to go play golf or whatever, do, then actually let me take that action. And that's called an aligned or inspired action. It's not a busy action, it's an inspired, aligned action. It comes from a place of inspiration, means being in spirit, rather than desperation when we get stuck in analysis by paralysis.
Yeah. 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 So, something, interesting came up when you shared this. A couple of years ago, me and my wife, we had gone for a vacation, and there's an India's biggest zip line. Okay. It's like about 800 meters above ground. Okay. And then I was standing there. My wife was really excited, uh, and I was in a state of self doubt. Okay, that okay, this is like way too high. Whatever, there is a fear, and fear, of course, in a way, self doubt. Okay, will I really, go through this? Okay. Then for 5 minutes, I was there standing, and my wife, of course, she's trying to encourage me, and and the moment of truth came, right. And then I asked myself, hey Sagar, you have been into a, world's biggest, you've said you have sat you have been into the world's biggest roller coaster, you have done all those adventures. Yeah, where is this coming from? Do you really need to doubt yourself on this? Okay. And then I just dropped it. Okay. So I think what I'm trying to share this with simple example is that we all have experienced self doubt in various areas of our life, and I think uh, the best way to solve is to go back and reflect on the evidence of what you have done. And I'm sure, with respect to career transition and growth, I think most of us have had enough experiences in our career to to provide ourselves an evidence that something like this has happened before, and we are still alive on the earth, we are still, let's say, happy, we still are with our friends and family. So I think if the mind goes to the evidence, I think that will definitely give you a direction. And for some reason there is no direct evidence of whatever jump or whatever growth that you are seeking, the best way again is to discuss with the trusted partners, coach, consultants, and take their, let's say, support. Because if doubt has come, which means it also shows with respect to career transition and growth, which shows that the you have the let's say hunger to take that jump, or you have the intention. You're just doubting whether you would do it or not. Okay, now I'm sure no other job, we are like, most of us are not serving the army, or we are not in very very high demand, let's say, make or break roles. I'm talking about more than 90% of the viewers who are here. Like, I'm just being honest and upfront in expressing. So there are, let's say, similar experiences that we could have had in other areas of life. Let's say the biggest, the wonderful performers, be it the HR folks. I'm just giving an example, right? uh, it's like the women, they have done so much in their, let's say, taking care of their family, and organizing things so much, then they, that comes up when they are taking up that particular role. So I'm just giving one example here, but I think it's seeking the evidence and creating the evidence. I think that could serve as a first step in getting your path that you are looking for.
Yeah, it's a great example. Evidence is important because our mind needs to make sense of things. So if you got an evidence of something you've done before, something that scared you, you were not sure, but you took the step, you took the leap, and it created like this amazing outcome, absolutely do that. But also don't underestimate safety, because it can put a massive toll on our nervous system. If our nervous system is not on board with
Yeah,
what our dreams and desires are, we will self-sabotage. So
yeah,
even if you can't find the evidence, you're still freaking out, you're feeling doubtful, but something within you burning. It's that this burning desire, I want to do that. Let's say you want to be a speaker, you want to get on
yeah.
a stage in front of thousands, but you've got this like fear of getting on a stage. Okay, well, what is the one thing I can do that makes me feel safe? And maybe that's do like, let's say, podcast, right? That's how I started, just doing purely podcast. So that's a one step in a direction. You don't need to get on a stage, but you will start building the blocks, and before you know, you're like on the other side.
Wonderful, wonderful. Then it would be great for our audience to know the impactful work you're doing, and how you're supporting the community and clients. And also, if they would like to connect with you, what is the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I mean, my passion is speaking. I speak on many conferences and events, and I also mentor people. It's all the information is my website. I'm happy to share. But basically, I help people to get unstuck in life, and that's how I would like to see, and break the patterns, the old models of thinking, and unleash their true potential. Because I do believe we're not really fulfilling our roles here.
Yeah,
With all the respect and love and support, because I know what it felt to be stuck in my life, where I had everything, all of the material possessions I could have thought about, but that emptiness within me, I couldn't fill anymore with shoes, with holidays. It wasn't possible. And I know I'm not the only one, because I speak to so many people, especially in the recent few months. It's like a lot of people are going through that stage. So if that's where you are, you want to either find yourself, find your purpose, or progress in your career, or even like start a business, but you don't know where and how to, you want somebody to help you explore your passions, then I think LinkedIn would be best, or you can go on my website and just contact me from there.
yeah. And also, what are some of the final words you have for the viewers who are in this middle of a big career transition, or wanting to experience growth? What are few words of wisdom you would like to share with them?
Yes, I think everything we've shared, today has been really useful. But one thing we need to remember, we cannot change our lives by remaining the person we are now, right? So, and that change actually begins by carving more time for yourself, because
Yeah,
you can't make those shifts, those changes in your life when you are on autopilot, constantly just being on that hamster wheel of life. So my suggestion, my recommendation would be like what I suggested earlier: take a few minutes in the morning for yourself. Because look, your day is going to unfold regardless. Now, how it unfolds, it can unfold unconsciously by default, same as the day before, or you can create it. Because remember, wherever you put your attention is where you put your energy, and everything responds to your energy. So play with it. Like, Ask yourself, what would I love to show up in my day today, right? And start
Mm,
playing with it. And most importantly, how would I love to feel? Maybe I want to feel peace. I want to feel ease in my life, and start connecting to this feeling. What would I be doing if I felt at ease? And it's 5-10 minutes a day, and during the day, if you are presented with a challenge, with a problem, you don't know what to do next, try to break the pattern. Instead of looking for more answers and solution, maybe sit on a couch for 10 minutes and do nothing, or go for a walk in silence, because you will find so many incredible answers in the silence. We just need to learn how to listen to it. So, yeah, just the last word is try to slow down your lives a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes a day, and see how you can build up on it.
absolutely, Lena. Thank you for sharing that, and I second everything that you mentioned. Which brings me, which opens up that when we were in our school, or maybe when we were in our college, knowingly or unknowingly, we took a lot of time on things that we really loved, be it even catching up with our friends, of course, going on workouts or gyms together as a group of friends, or going for a movie together, or maybe dancing, going out and dancing. Uh, so of course, with the time and the transition, the professional transition that happens, you know we do that thing, but I think that is not an equal priority, or not even a priority for that matter. And I think the answers to the biggest solutions, this is what I have discovered in the last few months, the answers to the bigger solutions of life lies in common sense and very simple, simple steps, right? So this is, even my, let's say, intention to share is that let's look at commonsensical ways of addressing things. Let's not bring in the overthinking and too much of logical mind in deciding whether I need to take care of my physical health or energy health. Just take some action steps, and I think it will build over time. And I can share that because that's how we all have built our career. It was not on the day one or the first year of our professional expression, that we became good at what we good at. We did all the minor and the minutest tasks, and everything that came up with it. So I think that's where, again, it goes applies to, even be it, discovering yourself or taking steps on for self love, because it's not a concept. It's not some bookish concept, or it's not, like we see in videos or whatever. Of course, the videos and the concepts that we do, its job is to only inspire us. But at the same time, the action steps that came out when Nena shared some of the action steps, and some of the, action steps that I shared, I think we'll have to reflect on that. And of course, and I know that all most of us have know what steps needs to be taken. The only thing is that, have we taken it or not? So with that, I would leave it to the audience to, uh, to think over. And I think a lovely weekend is on the way, that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Good time to reflect and take some action. So on that note, I would really, really thank Lena for, for this wonderful, co-creation. Always glad to, have you by my side, and of course, share this very important topic, which for some reason people aren't talking too much. But I think, thank you for bringing that up. This experience has even made my time and life much more rich, because I learned a lot from your insights, and I'm definitely going to reflect. If I am sharing audience to reflect, then I am also going to reflect over this weekend. And I promise we continue to, plan similar initiatives in the coming months, and taking one core topic, and sharing perspectives for the benefit of the audience. And thank you, audience, for always joining, for showing up, and having that keen ear, and a learning mindset, which also encourages us to, research and do our homework and plan and prepare, and create something like this to make your life enriching. So thank you.
Thank you.